All right, other news we're following tonight. Starting next Tuesday, a hiring freeze will go into effect in Maryland. The freeze was announced yesterday by Governor Wes Moore as part of a strategy to cut back on expenses statewide. Our Lionel Donovan joining us in studio with more on this announcement. Lionel. Good
afternoon, Simone. Now keep in mind, the last time Maryland had to institute a hiring freeze was in 2020. When Governor Wes Moore took office in 2023, he pledged to reverse the impact of that decision by filling 5,000 of the state's vacant positions. However, as of May, the Department of Budget and Management says about 4,800 state jobs were still vacant, and now it looks like they'll stay that way through the rest of the fiscal year. Yesterday, Maryland Governor Wes Moore told the state's workforce to prepare for some big changes over the next few months. The governor sent out an email alert saying that starting July 1st, a hiring freeze will go into effect. The state also plans to buy out some employees and eliminate at least 150 vacant positions. The moves cut $121 million from the personnel budget to fall in line with the 2026 budget Governor Moore signed in May.
It's not going to affect live bodies. People are going to continue to provide the services, do the great work they do.
Patrick Morin, president of Maryland's largest public employee union, says he was encouraged to see that despite the state's need to cut back, layoffs aren't being considered. He went on to explain how all Marylanders suffer under a doing more with less approach to staffing, as thousands of positions remain unfilled.
People are working 16 hours a day on a consistent basis. They can't enjoy time with their family. They can't enjoy time with their communities. And then also when people go to look for services, it's not as rapid in terms of the turnaround that they need in order to get those services.
Governor Moore says the impact of the federal workforce can't be ignored. Maryland's comptroller, Brooke Learman, underscored that point during a conversation with our Larry Miller on WUSA 9's streaming show, Federal Workforce Fallout.
Because although we have the 18th highest population in the country, we have the 3rd highest federal workforce in the country. And then it's also hitting our budget at the state level, because we know all of those federal jobs translate into wages that translate into our revenue for the state of Maryland. And it's the direct jobs, it's grants, and then it's also contract jobs.
As federal cuts continue, Morin says he'll be pushing to make sure the state has enough staff to get people the help they need.
Especially in these tough times when the federal government is cutting jobs under the current administration, and people in Maryland are going to rely on those services.
Now, Simone, as you were saying earlier, the freeze is scheduled to begin next week, July 1st. However, the administration is expected to present a list of vacant positions for elimination in September. Live in the studio, Lionel Donovan, WUSA 9.
All right, not the last we've heard of this, Lionel. I know you'll continue to follow it for us. Thank you.